Hey!
Hello!
Hey. I'm gonna pull the music down.
I was like, that music was loud.
I'm multitasking.
Yeah, we got this.
Hey, Lauren. Happy to see your face.
You too.
Happy for it to be around here in front of my face.
We've done it.
What did you think about Winter 2.0?
It was
yesterday
wild.
and today.
Yeah, it's also crazy because like literally Saturday was in the 70s and 80s, and then Sunday was in the 30s and 40s. Like the weather here is just wild.
It was like shirt off, go for a run.
Yeah,
nice and sunny, and then
Saturday's beautiful.
Crazy.
Sunday, yeah, and now it's winter again.
Crazy.
It's supposed to be cold like all week too, so I mean, at least it's like supposed to be cold right now. It sort of makes me feel better.
It's weird because people keep saying that, and there's things that are being canceled. Like Cooper has he had on Wednesday scheduled for this week a golf tournament, and it got canceled today because of weather. But I'm looking at the weather.
Isn't it supposed to rain pretty bad? Like
not here.
Okay.
And that's what's crazy. So like I looked at the weather, and I'm gonna show you what our weather looks like. This is stop. This is our weather for the rest of the week going into next Monday.
Yeah.
That's not bad weather.
No, it's just cold.
It's a little cold on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, but like
yeah. I mean, it's just cold. It's not
I
too
guess
bad.
Thursday is probably the coldest. Well,
like today,
25,
like it started really cold, but like when I went for a run at like 1 o'clock, it was actually pretty nice with the sun out and everything. Yeah.
This afternoon, going into the evening,
beautiful.
was perfect. If I hadn't like already run in place this morning, I would have for sure gone out this afternoon because it was so nice.
And I started with a sweatshirt, but then like took it off halfway through my run because like the second half of my run is a lot sunnier too. So I was like, this is fine. Like I don't need like more than a t-shirt.
I try
Texas
my best
weather in the winter.
Whenever I go on runs, I try my best to wear the least amount of clothes possible. That's a
I
true
don't
story.
if it's cold. I hate like being way too cold when I'm running, so I'd rather just like bring an extra layer and take it off if I need to.
I agree. And if I'm running in the cold, then what I do is I'll wear a sweatshirt or whatever. But my problem is my nipples chafe. Like it's a real problem for me. So I have to I have to bundle up and I have to put on like nipple guards. And so I try to take the least amount of like resistance. Like I try to go with the least amount of resistance. And because by mile 2 or 3, my body's so hot, it's like I just start to sweat a ton. And so I just want to shed those, but I don't want to like carry the stuff around with me. And I'm usually like going long distances, so it's a while before I get back to my car, and I don't want to carry stuff around. So
no, anyway. I totally get that. It is annoying when you have to carry it. Like it's not like I usually just have like a jacket and I like tie it around my waist or like a sweatshirt. But I have done that if
it's cool enough to warrant a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt, but not so cool that I have to wear multiple layers. Then I'll wear a hoodie or a long sleeve shirt, and then with the nip guards, and then I'll pull it off and then take the nip guards off because I don't want to look like an idiot running around.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I was like, it's funny because like I get like chafing on my legs, so but I still have to wear pants. There's no solution.
No solution. I will say this. I don't know how I ever ran before like neoprene, like running like boxer
shorts.
Briefs.
Yeah, those are perfect.
I don't know. The very first marathon I did in like cotton boxers and like sweatpants.
Wasn't it great to be young?
No, I was torn up. Like I was chafing by probably mile 6 and then just in brutal pain for the second half of the half marathon. I don't know. Like now I can do as many miles as my body will let me. You know, I think the most I'm at right now is like 15 miles, and I can be done, and there's no remnants of the fact that I've gone on a long run on any part of my legs or thighs or body. Yeah. Because of the right equipment. You wear the right equipment, and it just makes a whole world of difference.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
times have changed. That's a quick rash and nipple
weather update
for everybody. Yeah. You're welcome, everybody. I know that's why you showed up tonight. You may have noticed that we are severely lacking 1 6'7" piece of this podcast. And that's just because
arguably the biggest piece.
The biggest piece of the puzzle is currently missing. But
that's okay.
They just got moved into their new house just a couple days ago, and so they're still kind of
living in boxes and chaos.
They're unwinding. And he could have joined us, but it would have been he would have had to really pull some things together. So we're gonna go Patrickless for this episode. So that means it'll probably be a little bit shorter, but it also means we might go on more tangents. So,
I have a lot of movies to talk about, so here we go.
And I've got some things to talk about that I think you specifically would have information about that Patrick wouldn't. And so I think there's possibles. Golly, we're gonna start this over. I don't know why I can't say words tonight. There's a real possibility of us just really going down some rabbit holes. So we maybe should just go ahead and get started. So
when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Exactly. And Patrick is the proverbial, well, I'll just say cat because I don't want to get a strike.
Yeah.
All right. My trackpad's not working. I have to keep reminding myself that that's not.
Oh, that would be infuriating.
Oh gosh, hang on. It's my magic trackpad. My computer trackpad works. Okay. It's just the one that I'm used to working with. So I keep trying to scroll and it's not working. I'm going to move it out of the way so I don't keep doing it. Okay, let's clap for Patrick.
Yes, for
3
Patrick.
3 and 2 and 1 and remember you say and I'm Lauren because there's no Patrick in the middle.
Thank you for reminding me.
I figured I'd do it now so we don't have to.
I would literally never remember.
We don't have to redo it. Okay. Let's say hi to everybody real quick before we start.
Hi.
Yeah, no Patrick, Jedi. Sorry, Patrick's not here. Please still stick around, even though your namesake isn't with us.
I see Kate's here, Becca.
Kate's here.
Will.
Yep. Hey, Will.
Will,
hey.
I'm sending your package tomorrow because today was President's Day and the post office was closed.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. You wear 3 layers on your bike? Wow. Why?
Well, bike is cold because like all the wind is coming at you.
How fast are you riding, Jedi? Are you riding?
I
like
also
60
always
miles
pictured
an
this
hour?
as a stationary bike. I would not be able to ride a regular bike and hold my phone and not die.
Oh. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I would like to. Maybe he is on a
No,
stationary
I think it is a
bike.
real bike because we've talked about this before, but I don't. And I was like, wait, what?
Now I'm concerned that he's trying to watch and interact while he's writing, like in.
Yeah, I don't know
public.
how he's typing responses while on an actual
I don't know
bike.
how he's typing
Yeah.
responsibly. Well,
said not
I guess
slow.
maybe it does check out a little bit because sometimes he says some wild stuff that we find out later was just typos. So it's entirely possible that that's
Starting to make more sense now. I love
what's
it.
happening. All right, did we just clap?
We clapped. We did, in fact.
Okay, cool. It's going to be a long night. My brain is not functioning.
It's all good.
All right, here we go.
A similar day.
Welcome to episode 577 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that can't quite seem to shake the feeling that someone's watching us. In this episode, we talk about Townsfolk Tussle and an Oscar movie medley. I'm Andrew Sale.
And I'm Lauren Rubin.
So look over both shoulders and keep a keen eye, because it's time to peep another episode.
For Patrick.
For Patrick! All right, good. We like to kick off every episode by going around the table, which is where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. But the most noteworthy thing about this episode is that it's not around the table. It's just back and forth.
It's across the table, yeah. Should we just do back and forth?
We'll just go back and we'll just go
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
I
boom,
don't
boom,
have
boom.
too much to talk about in this section because most of what I did this week was watching movies. But yeah.
And you've
let's
got quite a few movies to talk about.
Yes, I really do. I have 5.
All right, well, why don't you, here, I have a few things, so why don't I kick things off?
Okay, yeah, I was like,
you
I
will
got
actually
one big one, yeah.
And then we'll just ping pong back and forth until we
I love
run
it.
out of things, and then we'll go to the master categories.
I love it.
Patrick is not gone forever. He just moved into a new house. He's getting settled. We will see him on the next episode. But in the meantime, hop in the Slack channel and tell him that you miss him. Send him a $5 Starbucks gift card as a housewarming gift.
Oh, that's a very thoughtful idea.
Yeah, he doesn't drink Starbucks, so he'll send it to me. I'm kidding.
Extra thoughtful.
I was thinking of myself. All right, so
Mackenzie's like, I drink Starbucks. It's mine now.
a couple of things that I want to talk about. I think this one you'll have also something to talk about. So this will be a fun one to kind of just intro us in. And this week, I've been watching this season of Dungeons and Drag Queens on Dimension 20.
Yes.
Watched the newest episode. I'm not quite finished. There's like it's the finale.
The finale.
I have
Yeah,
an
it was
hour
a very
left.
long episode. Yeah, it's like a 3-hour episode.
I have an hour left of the finale, so don't give anything away. But I want to talk about how good this season has been.
Yeah.
And how fun it's been. The wordplay has been like next level. I think my favorite, I laughed out loud today. I was watching when I was running, and I put my AirPods in, and they're in noise canceling
Oh man,
mode.
the visuals on this season are insane, especially this last fight.
Totally. And so I'm running in the house, and so Becca's in bed and Cooper's in bed, and I'm trying not to wake anybody up. So I do all this stuff with my headphones. But I'm sure I laughed out loud this morning when the ballista Flockhard was uttered, and there's this ballistic missile underwater like harpoon thing that comes up in the final
a whale
episode.
gun thing. Yeah,
like a whaling gun. Yeah, basically. And the drag queens give these wild names to all the characters, and because they have a hard time remembering characters' names. So like they named one of the characters Clockarella.
I love that's like the perfect name for her though.
It's so good.
Are you talking about the boat?
The boat was fantastic.
That was one of the funniest jokes
When it comes speedboating.
ever.
Yeah.
ever.
It was very, very good.
I was like, I don't want to say what kind of boat or any other details, but that was really good.
It's very good. And and just saying that doesn't actually give anything away for people who are still watching.
Saying there's a boat involved in a aquatic battle doesn't seem very shocking,
it seems on par. But Ballista
great,
Flockhart was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was a great and I just
screaming.
Brennan has gone next level on this one. And the
nails.
The set,
the last episode were great nails.
The set designs this year have been, or this season, are so fantastic, and like they've really gone next level. There's like animations and things that are now built into the minis and the stage set. So, man, kudos to them for a fantastic season.
I loved the moment where they turn on the black light too, and that like kind of had a cool surprise. Again, I don't want to ruin this for people because it was really freaking cool.
Yeah, like, it's quite good.
Yeah, they killed it this season. I'm so excited that like that show is as successful as it seems to be. Like it's like brings together two things that I love so much, and it's just like fun to see it grow because like it's brought all the Drag Race people to Dimension 20 and then kind of vice versa in some ways. So like I think it's really just the best. Yeah,
so I'm if you've not watched it, you should. You just should. It's very
I wonder if like in the next season if they would add more people, because I definitely like have people in mind that I think would be really good. And they like, other seasons have 6 people usually. So it's just a fun possibility.
Yeah, but I do wonder if six drag queens would be too much. Because like every season has like a couple of people who kind of play it straight and are a little bit quieter, and they allow the other characters to kind of the other players to kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Do their have their moments.
There's no quiet player. I mean, Alaska maybe a little bit, but
like, I think if you chose the right people,
very actively interacting with one another, which could make it hard to play the game.
I totally see your point. I just think that there are some drag queens who've played D&D, like so there are more crossover, like people who are a little more experienced who might be good picks, or that are very good actors that are would be good picks. It's just a thought I had after this last season, if they would ever do that.
We'll see. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to it. What I would hate to have happen is what happened during Never Stop Blowing Up, where I got annoyed with the people who were not playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, remember, it was like
who you felt like took the spotlight too much or something.
Brennan's wife, and then and then the other
Reka,
person
probably.
Yeah, and he had to literally stop and say like, you guys need to stop. Like, I would just hate for that to happen again, and so I could see that happening where there's a bunch.
It's a potential, but
because
I like
here's
the idea. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and maybe I'm wrong in saying this, right? So like I'm new to the drag queen world. So I'm okay to admit that I'm new to this world. But you've got people who are already playing a character who are then playing a character as a person playing
a dude disguised as a dude playing another dude.
Well, you know what I mean? Like there is a bit where it gets so muddy and so muddled that there's a bit where it can be like they're already playing the game by playing a character, and it might just get too much. But I
get what you're saying. Yeah, but I just think there are a few people that I think could be really good, but I think they do a great job with 4 people. It's so much fun. Like I just love it.
So here's what I would love. And this was not on my notes to say, and Patrick's not here to validate this thought.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I said this or if we had talked about this with you. I think we did, but just in case, I'm going to say it. We've talked about running a. You know what? Actually, I'm going to pause on that thought because I'm going to talk about something in a second that I think it works better with, and so rather than bounce back and forth. So Dungeons and Drag Queens, the finale has happened. I'll have finished it tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
by the time this airs, I'll have seen it. So if you've not watched it, go watch it, and then we'll hop in the Slack channel and talk about all the fun stuff with it. But
let me throw in a fun Dimension 20 question for you then, as we're going back and forth. So.
Great.
Dungeons and Drag Queens just ended. That means there's another season of Dimension 20 about to start. What do you think is coming down the pipe?
Do they always have one like in rotation? Is that
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's most likely to be an Intrepid Hero season because there's been 2 non-Intrepid Hero seasons.
So you think a Fantasy High? No.
Not Fantasy High, no, because they just did that one last. So I think there's other options.
Then what would the other one be? So there's a quart of
They can
candy.
make a whole new one. Like it might be a completely new setting, possibly.
I thought you were saying based on the properties that we know.
No. I mean, there's always like I think Starstruck Odyssey is the one that seems most likely that they might go back to. But
Never seen that. Never watched that.
I really like that one. It's very funny. I think it's one of the more like silly campaigns, and I absolutely love the setting. It's so hilarious. And a really cool like thing about that one is that Brendan's mom wrote the comic books that the like series takes all of its like setting from. Like she wrote this comic book series that's like about like this like space like just like these people that live in this like kind of crazy universe in space, and they took that universe and like made a D&D setting for it. I think that's very cool.
I saw something that Brendan was on. It was probably an Actually episode or maybe it was even when he was playing the wizard one I'm blanking on right now.
Misfits and Magic.
I think he was wearing a star.
Yes.
What's it called?
Starstruck Odyssey.
Odyssey. I saw him wearing the shirt and I thought, oh, that's a fun shirt. What is that? And then I looked it up and realized it was a campaign that they had run.
I love that campaign. It's
the
so
art
funny.
looked really fun on the shirt. Like I would wear that shirt, but I can't wear it without having watched the campaign. That would be stolen
highly
valor.
Recommend that season. It's so much fun, and like they kind of did Hero Forge for that one, so there's no minis, but it's still like very visual, and I thought that was great. It's just a hilarious setting. Like the puns are top notch, the characters are so funny. Like I absolutely love that season. So like I think that would be a great one to have more of. But I don't know. I think like a new one would be just as exciting. I'm always like curious to see what they're thinking of.
When you say Intrepid Heroes, you're talking about
players.
The players, right? Like the
so it'd be
core...
like like it'll be like Allie, Zach, Siobhan, Lou, Murph, and Emily.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've seen Emily and Murph. But we've seen Lou in other things, and we've seen Allie in other things.
Both Murph and Emily run their own like separate D&D podcast thing that's very successful. So that's why they're only
and they're married, right? The two of them.
Yes, and that's why they're only in like those shows, and they're not really in the other shows as much.
Gotcha.
But that's.
I'd love to see Jake in another one. He's just great.
He's so funny.
Jake.
Yeah.
Can I ask you? Well, I'll wait until actually Patrick is on the next time because I have a question about watching him, and I think he would have some insight to it. So I'll wait so we don't have to have the conversation twice.
Yeah, sure.
So speaking of things that I've watched. Were you done with yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just going back and forth today.
Right.
So it's different.
I realized I may have just hijacked what you were saying and you never actually got to it.
No. I just wanted to speculate what will the next season of D20 be. Yeah.
I've been watching some other TV. Becca and I have been watching some other TV.
There's so much amazing TV right
Severance.
now.
She had never seen Severance. We rewatched all of first season of Severance, and we're now up to date on season 2 of Severance. And
That's
you've
awesome.
not watched, or you have watched it?
No, I've been watching. Trust me.
Just
last night, just for fun, since I like caught up on Severance on Sunday, we played D&D last night. We do character facts, and I decided to read all my character facts, like the Audi facts that they get in therapy.
My character.
Exactly. Please try and enjoy these facts equally.
my character is great at making flambe.
That's literally what I did. I was like, my character is skilled at fixing machines. My character can see in the dark.
has won more than 2 science fairs.
Yeah.
And if you've not watched Severance, that doesn't make sense. But if you have, then this is quality entertainment that we're providing. So that bridges exactly what I wanted to say earlier. I don't know if you were part of this conversation, but I want us to do a Severance themed D&D campaign where there's four of us
we talked about this. Yes, we did talk about this. I think this would be so insane.
And then when our session ends, another session picks up with 4 other players playing our characters.
Or it wouldn't even have to be a session ending. I think events could happen and literally like we have to leave the room and the other people come in or something. You know?
My whole point is like we can have them be, because one of the big issues with D&D, if you're unaware, is getting people to commit the time to it. That's kind of the big thing.
This is cool though. Like we could do it.
I just love the idea that we have characters who are run by people and all the decisions are being made by people. And then other people are making decisions for those same characters outside of our because there would be potentially competing MOs, competing objectives, competing values, and then I show back up, and all of a sudden my character they lost an
all
arm.
your spell slots are gone. Yeah, like
exactly,
even
and
just
I'm not,
practical
I've not
stuff.
rested yet, right? Like
or like, well, how did I lose this item?
I think that would be so fun. I think that would be such a cool way to
I really think that would be so much fun. I think it's especially cool because like I think like this season of Severance has a lot of like really thinking more about what it would be like to have this be done to you, and like what it means to like have a different personality for half the day and like consequences of that. And so I've just like been thinking about it so much. Like this sounds extra cool.
Yeah, I would love to have that happen.
Yeah, that would be sick.
What else did you do, Lauren?
There's a lot of insanely good TV on right now. Just this weekend, we had both Yellow Jackets and White Lotus come back. I don't have too much to say about either of those things because there's just been a couple episodes, like 2 episodes for Yellow Jackets, 1 episode for like White Lotus. But I love both these shows. I think especially White Lotus is just like one of the most consistently good shows that's out there. So I'm so excited to just like enjoy the new season. This is one of those shows like I don't try and find anything about because you don't need to know anything about the new season. Like just going along with the mystery
an anthology,
is the
right?
fun. Yeah. I mean, well, it's not even really an anthology. Like the creators are the same. And then they kind of like bring back one character that like crosses over. So in this case, the crossover character is Belinda, who was like the spa worker from the first season. Okay. That like Jennifer Coolidge like doesn't give her the money that she promises. And so she's on a trip to Thailand. And then obviously there's all the other weird and wonderful guests at the White Lotus.
Yeah. What defines an anthology if it's not the same creators creating something in that same kind of world?
Because it's also usually the same actors, like, you know, like switching roles, like kind of like more like American Horror Story, where a lot of the like cast is the same. At least that's how I think of it. But I think you could be right that that's still technically called an anthology.
Because
Fargo is. Yeah, Fargo is, and they don't have any crossover. So
it's under
you're right.
The umbrella of a thing, but it's a totally different storyline with different characters. Yeah.
So I take it back. It's an anthology show.
Cool. So we're good. That's good.
Yeah, but it's I really like the first episode. Kind of introduces a lot of interesting characters and scenario for the season. Again, amazing actors. Parker Posey is so funny in just this first episode that I cannot wait to watch more of her. Jason Isaacs is in it. Walton Goggins, Carrie Coon, and many other wonderful people. So usually I feel like also White Lotus, if I don't know the people by the end of the season, I usually like them because they are very good at like casting. But yeah, just excited for all the wonderful TV. I know that Invincible's on, and I haven't even started it yet. So like, there's just really so much wonderful TV right now.
There really is. We watched. We've been watching Beast Games, like I talked about a couple weeks ago. And Beast Games finale came out this past week, and my goodness, if you've not watched Beast Games, I've just seen clips. I haven't watched the whole thing. It is a wild ride, and I don't want to give away anything, but they already had set, like I'd said, they'd already set the record for most prize money offered in a reality game show, right? Or like any sort of game show. And let's just say they blow their already existing record out of the water by the last 2 episodes. And then they tell you at the end exactly how much they ended up distributing to people over the course of the show. And it is mind blowing how much money they gave away on that show. So
that's awesome.
This is so good. But then also Shrinking. Have you watched Shrinking?
I haven't watched Shrinking. I've like almost started it a couple times and then I just haven't actually watched it. But I've heard great things about it.
It is such a good show. Becca hadn't seen any of it, and I started to watch season 2, and I'm like, I watched the first episode of season 2. I was like, you know what? I forgot how good this show is. I'm gonna see if she wants to watch it. Because if she wants to watch it, I want to watch the second season with her. And she watched the first episode and was hooked. And so we had been watching through the first season last week. Started season 2 right before we started podcasting tonight. Yeah. And so rewatched episode 1 of season 2. But that show is so good. It's Harrison Ford. It's Jason Segel. A whole bunch of people that you recognize in this show. And the writing is fantastic. It's moving and it's funny and it's real and it's there's just a lot to love about this show. and it's an Apple TV show, as is Severance, and so like their Apple TV is
they love shows that start with S.
They do, yeah. Silo is another Apple TV joint, so it's just good. It's just very, very good. So if you've not,
that's just one I haven't seen, but never heard a bad word about it. Everyone I know who has seen it,
and
likes
you shan't hear a bad word about it. I wouldn't trust the opinion of a person who does say something bad about it. There's a little bit of something for everybody. I think the fact of how real it is and how it deals with emotions and being a parent to a child who has emotions, it just you don't have to have that to enjoy the rest of the show. There's a little bit of everything, but as a parent who is living with a teenager and dealing with things like that, it's just like, oh yeah, that's so real. But it's like they take the honest nature of it and they make it funny, which is nice. And it's Harrison Ford, just like how you want to see him. He's grumpy, but he's also, you see like a tender side of him, and it's just good. It's just a good.
I like seeing Harrison Ford in that kind of role, because like I feel like he's always like Mr. Tough Guy, or like, you know, like he just doesn't do that kind of thing very much.
The front side of him is that, but you see the back side of it too, where he's.
But I don't feel like I can think of a role that he's had where he gets to have that turn at any point. Right. You know, like where he
just
is
stays
softer,
that
really.
kind of gruff curmudgeon. No, this is it curmudgeon or curmudgeon?
Curmudgeon, yeah.
Curmudgeon. This one you get to see both sides of it. So.
Yeah, love it. Definitely still watching The Traitors, but.
Yes. And so is Patrick. And so I had it on my list, and I crossed it off once I found out that he wasn't going to be here, because he's going to for sure want to talk about it. And
I just want to say just one little thing where I just absolutely love in the last 2 episodes that like Sandoval is just getting completely shit on, and it's the most satisfying thing to see.
Let me say this.
Like in the world. It's so
Let me
funny.
say this. I'm going to do my best to literally just say this, and then we move on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I could talk for
it's just
30
so
minutes
funny. Like
I love Tom Sandoval. I think he is
I'm so
the
glad
best
he got to stay to be in this last episode.
that has
It's
happened to this show, genuinely, because the rest of the show is just falling apart. The people in the rest of the show are just falling apart, and they're doing terribly. I am rooting against the Traitors now because of everything that's happening.
I'm definitely rooting against Danielle because she sucks.
She's just terrible. And Carolyn too, because she's letting her, honestly.
Carolyn, I at least like she's at least playing strategically. Danielle sucks. Like
strategically.
Danielle thinks she's like fucking Moriarty, and she is Tom Sandoval. Like she is
so
not.
But what I love is Tom Sandoval has risen to the ranks, and I'm gonna beat my own drum here for a second. If you go back to when I talked about how a couple weeks ago Becca was frustrated with Tom, and I was saying, and I'm pretty sure Patrick backed me up on this too. I was saying that in the context of the show, he's not done anything to warrant the kind of vitriol that people are throwing at him.
No, it's not this show. Yeah,
right. I know.
Yeah.
But he has further doubled down that not only has he not been a piece of shit on this show, he has been like the key player in the last 2 episodes on the part of the what's it called? They're not favorites. What are they called?
Faithfuls.
Faithfuls. Thank you. He's been a key player in part of the Faithfuls on getting money because he's actually playing the games, and he's actually trying to play for more than just himself. And I
totally
feel like
agree with
I am
that.
vindicated in the Traitors version of Tom Sandoval. I don't know him outside of this, but the Traitors version, I feel like there was so much vindication for me.
I'm dying to say something. Okay, so this is the thing, is that like if Tom is playing nice because he doesn't have a choice. If he acted like an asshole, it would cause more problems for him. And like he gets more by like just playing nice and like trying his hardest, because he came into this knowing everybody hates him, and like everyone the interviews that people have talking about him, they clearly are very annoyed by him and do not take him seriously at all, as they should. Like he's not smart person.
He's fine.
Not, like, and I do think that he's only playing nice because it helps him. He's not actually like a nice person.
And
he's just playing Like he's playing.
That could be, but you have prior knowledge that's
Yeah,
feeding
no,
those
that's
feelings.
the thing. And I'm saying this. I know that
person
Tom
who
Sandoval is an extremely manipulative person, so I'm like, do not trust this fugly bitch. Like
for all intents and purposes, in my mind, he is the best player on Traders right now. He's the most entertaining.
He's not a good. He's funny to watch right now.
No, and he's actually playing the game, and he's succeeding at playing the game. Whereas there's other people who I think are much smarter and more strategic and all these things who are playing openly for themselves in the context of Traders.
Oh, yeah.
They are not contributing to the team. They are not doing well in challenges. They're not doing anything that warrants any sort of lifting. I said I was just going to say this one thing and we move on.
This is
5 minutes ago.
This is still one thing.
But Tom is like he's there to compete and to play in the game to contribute to the actual
He's trying to
game.
win the money and like he has a good chance of going very far because literally no one sees him as a threat and he isn't one.
I think differently. I think that he actually is more of a threat than people are letting on, and I was just so happy to see how well he did in this last episode.
That was truly so funny,
and people
though.
Are making fun of him the entire time. Absolutely. And for people who hate Tom Sandoval, they were loving watching people do this. I saw over and over again online people who just loved how much he was just getting
it was just
trashed.
embarrassing, and like it was very funny. And he like there's just been all these things, like he has this fake band. I can go on and on.
But listen, yeah. Brittany gives him a hard time in the talking head where she says, "Doesn't he know how embarrassing this is?" And I'm sitting here going, it's embarrassing.
How else would you do it? Yeah.
It's embarrassing, but he's getting you money. Like he's earning you money. Like how dare you people give this guy such a hard time for playing the game that you signed up to come play? I'm 100%
I just think this game was particularly
on Traders
insane.
version Tom Sandoval. I'm 100% Team Tom.
So funny
for Traders. I'm gonna get a Team Sandoval shirt.
You should buy a Tom hat. Yeah.
So anyway, okay. Moving past
Hilarious.
I did. We both have some trips coming up. We booked a trip, and since we talked last, we booked a trip to Florida. Becca's got her baby shower, and she's driving down, so I'm gonna drive down with her. Do Disney for a couple days, see a couple friends. I haven't been to Disney since last summer. And then I'll fly back, and then she'll stick around and do more baby stuff. So I have that trip coming up, and then I've also booked my trip to Creative South. And if you're not already planning to go to Creative South, consider going. It's going to be a great time. There's some incredible speakers lined up for this year. Lots of people who are friends of the show who we've had on the show before. So it's going to be great to reconnect with a lot of those people. And if you listen to the show and you're going, please make sure you hit us up. We want to know that you're coming, and we'll connect, and we'll maybe do a meal or two while you're there. But you're like dangerously close to your Japanese trip as well, right?
I mean, it doesn't feel like
your trip to Japan.
Japanese trip sounds fine.
Oh, it's an American trip.
I mean, it's not until the end of April, so we still have quite a lot of time, and we're still planning stuff. So
is that April?
It's coming together. Yeah.
Oh, then we have a month.
And it's not till like mid-April, so there's a good amount of time.
Oh. Well, then what are we doing?
I've been looking into getting an international driver's license, though.
When you said that you couldn't come to Creative South because you were going to Japan, you meant you couldn't swing both trips.
No, it overlaps each other, or like it's right before. I think like Creative South is like I'm leaving the 10th.
Maybe I don't know what day Creative South is. maybe I booked tickets for the wrong trip.
I'm looking
I thought it was like the first weekend of April.
Okay, yeah, it's April 10th through the 12th, and I'm leaving on the 10th through the 20th. Right. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it overlapped. Like,
so it's like 7 weeks away. It's still far enough away.
Yeah, I've got time.
Okay.
Currently, I've been looking into getting an international driver's license so we can do that thing where you get to drive the like real Mario Karts around Tokyo.
What?
It looks awesome. Like literally you get like Mario Kart cars. They give you Mario Kart costumes and you get to drive them around on the road.
Okay. Pause on that. Get that figured out.
Yeah, I really want to do it.
Talk about it once you've done it.
Yeah, that's
and film it, and we'll put it on YouTube because I want to see that.
I want to try it. Yes, it sounds really cool.
Are you excited about are you like just over the moon about that? Are you selling anything, or are you just going to the...
Oh, I'm just going for fun.
Okay.
I started working on my costumes a little bit because, like, I'm not going to go to, like, another country for a con and not have a new costume. But
What are you going? Because it's Star Wars, right? So what are you going?
since I have done like, a lot of droids, that's kind of like my thing. I want to do K2SO because Andor's coming out right around the same time. I know it's just going to be a short one. That's all I can do. But I have a cool idea.
K2SO. Oh!
Yeah, like the big tall guy from Andor. Yeah.
Wait, from Andor? Maybe
Also Rogue One. Sorry.
Okay, I was like,
yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
So
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. I was thinking of this because Andor the show is coming out like basically during Celebration, so like that will be the big show. And
but
like,
is he in Andor?
he wasn't in the first season, but he has to be in the second season because they don't have him yet, and he's in Rogue One. And this literally, the second season is supposed to end right before, you will walk out of this scene and into Rogue One when
that
like,
totally explains why I didn't make that connection.
Sorry, I don't know. That's also my bad. You are correct. That I thought technically right as of right now, as of recording,
I thought what you were saying,
Rogue One.
I thought you were going to say that you were going as SM-33, and I would have loved that.
I thought about it, like, but between the two of them, but because Andor's coming out, I want to do that one, and then I'll probably do SM-33 at some point because I love him.
And can you please put like the blue and white striped shirt on him too, please? Please.
That one would be crazy too, because I was thinking about how you would do that one, and like the peg leg is pretty tough, but they're like I'd have to think about it a little longer.
Your legs
like,
are kind of peggy anyway, right?
Sure. I just have to chop one off for authenticity. Yeah. But yeah, so working on that one for sure. I think B2 emo I'll probably do as well, and then maybe bring Chopper because that's my most favorite.
Is it 4 days or is it a 3-day con?
3 days.
3 days. And
I also don't feel like I'll spend as much time as I would like normally, just because like I want to go to Japan. So if like I don't get into panels, I'm probably gonna leave earlier.
Okay.
And just go do Japan stuff.
Well, that's exciting. I'm excited for you. That's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna eat so much sushi and just fun. The food is like the thing I'm super excited about too.
Oh, so speaking of food, I have a trip that I gifted Becca with for Valentine's Day. We're going to just north of Austin. We're going to Salado, Texas. I don't know if you've ever been to Salado, Texas, but the pizza for Pizza Fest.
That sounds awesome.
Our friend Rocky, who owns Park Street Pizza in Ohio, and he owned Baylor Street, of which you've had. The truck that came out for our wedding.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
They are him and his wife Courtney are teaching a course on how to make pizza, and I signed Becca and I up for that.
Oh, fun!
So we're gonna go learn how to make pizza, and then we're gonna stay in Salado for the night at this old it's called the Stagecoach Inn, and it was like this old kind of roadside motel that has been like taken and been updated and been kind of not gentrified, but like been restored in this kind of new modern way. So it feels like a very modern take on these old kind of roadside motel. So that's where we'll stay. That's where the conference, or I guess it's a convention. I don't know. It's a pizza fest.
Pizza
that
fest
takes over the little town. Yeah.
The festival.
So that's happening.
That sounds so fun.
Couple of weeks. I'm excited about that. So it's not quite Japan, but
no, pizza.
We get
fest
to learn how to make pizza, so that's going to be fun.
Pretty freaking exciting. I'm not going to lie. I love it.
What else you got? You got anything else?
That's really it. I got a haircut this week. That's it. Like
I
watched a ton of movies, and that is what I'm going to talk about for my master category. So I'm kind of just
well, I have one more thing.
Busy doing.
I have one more thing. And on the topic of haircuts, Becca has gotten to where like if my beard, if like the short part of my beard starts to get a little bit too long and my mustache starts to kind of fade into it, she lets me know that it's time for me to trim it because she really likes the mustache. So, and I got a text from Patrick earlier this week. I sent him a picture. I took Cooper golfing for his birthday.
I saw your pictures. That looked fun.
And his reply back was, wait, I'm just gonna read it because I don't want to butcher it. His reply when I sent the picture to the group thread was, why am I missing it? Hang on, where is it? I'm continuously impressed by how good of a decision the stash was. That's Patrick's.
That's amazing.
That's Patrick's 2 cents on it. Okay.
That's
But
great.
the final thing that I wanted to talk about is Cooper has a MetaQuest 2. He's had it for a little while. I believe you have a MetaQuest.
I do too. Yeah.
Right. And I have commandeered it. Because there's a game on there that is called Demio. Have you played Demio?
No, quite honestly, I literally only play Beat Saber because I love that game.
Okay, you might want to consider downloading Demio and playing with me, because it's basically like a tabletop version of Dungeons and Dragons. It's like Gloomhaven basically, but you play it. You play it in VR. And
that's cool. Okay.
You sit like, I don't know if you can change the settings or not, but the setting that you start the game in is in like a basement in someone's house, and there's like shelves on the side with board games and stuff sitting on the shelf, and there's like
hilarious.
an old like tube TV against the wall, and you can look around and look up the stairs like to upstairs part of the house. But then there's this table, a gaming table that's in the middle of this room, and you can zoom in and zoom out and rotate and move around it to get the best viewing angle. And you're picking up your character, like you're literally picking up your pieces and you're moving it, and you get cards and you play cards from your hand, but you play them on top of characters. When you move your character and put it on top of a bad guy or whatever, they battle. Like there's an animation, they battle, and like if you put them onto chests, like the chest will open up, you'll get stuff out of the chest. Like it's a really, really nice immersion. It feels like such a cool thing, and it doesn't matter where people are playing. So you and I could be playing this game, and it look like we're standing in the same room together, playing on this board game together. So Demio, you should totally.
Is it Demio?
Demeo.
Okay, thanks.
You should get it if anyone has a MetaQuest 2 or 3. It plays on both. And we should just get a game going where we that
would be really fun.
We play basically Dungeons and Dragons via VR. It would just be such a cool, fun thing. So
I'm totally
check it out if you've got it.
Yeah.
Let me know. Maybe we'll start a Demio thread in Slack, and whoever wants to join us, we can get a game going scheduled. So.
Same goes if you ever want to play Beat Saber.
Can you do Beat Saber like multiple people at the same time?
Yeah. I used to play online for a while, but I got bored of doing that.
Well, we have Beat Saber because for sure Cooper downloaded that like right when he first got it. So I know that we have Beat Saber.
I've been playing more because it's cold, and I'm finally moving from expert to expert plus, which is the highest rank.
I'm going to wait to play with you then. I played it for 13 minutes when we first got it. I got super sweaty and I put it down.
I used to play a lot of DDR, so I think it just like scratches that itch very nicely, and I love it.
Oh, it definitely does. Okay, that's going to be it for our Around the Table. We're going to head now over into Master Categories. Master Categories each week. Nope. Master Categories each episode when we talk about the dice we rolled the previous episode. Those give us our categories. We pick our topics based on those categories. Lauren, I'm going to settle in for a long winter's nap not nap, because I'm going to listen. I'm going to settle in and just sit back and listen to you talk about films, because I think you've got quite a few to chat about.
I do. And I think you probably have seen some of these because I was catching up on some, and then there's one new one in the mix. So I have been trying to catch up on all the Oscar movies. I mentioned this last time, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. There's a lot of movies to watch, and a lot of them are very long. But I've got 5 movies that I watched this week, 4 of which are all Oscar contenders. So I'll start off with I watched 2 of the best animated features that are available on streaming currently. So I watched Inside Out 2 and Wallace and Gromit: A Vengeance Most Foul. I think both of these movies were totally fine. They didn't blow me away. They did not I don't think they were so creative or so amazing. I thought they were both good movies that did exactly what they've done before, super, super well, and continue to be good. They didn't there's nothing, I don't really have a lot to complain about with either of these movies, but I just it was exactly what you expect from both of these. Inside Out was really cute. It was funny. I thought the best parts of it where I really liked the new emotions. They were really fun. I like how they characterized them. I like that they showed how, like, why they're not in the parents' minds and stuff too. It was really funny to me. And then, like, I think the very end where, or like the whole idea that they had of the, like, building your personality, like the little structure thing, and like your belief system and like the visualization of that, I thought was very, very clever. And like the way that they did the panic attack at the end was also like, oh, this is like very relatable to what this feels like.
Totally. I think that piece, what you just said, was I think exactly what I talked about when I did the review of that film on here, where I said that is what it feels like to have a panic attack on the inside.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice interpretation for people who haven't had that. Like, I remember going with people and saying, like, yeah, that's what that feels like. And being able to, like, have a visual connection for people who don't experience that, for me was, it was really helpful.
Yeah, I thought that was, like, definitely, like, the best part of the movie. Like,
Agreed.
If that was the idea that they worked around, like, that was really smart, because I think that was, like, really moving and just very well done, like, really good. And I don't think this will win. Of the ones that I've seen, I think that Wild Robot is a lot better than both of these movies. I haven't seen Flow yet, though, which is like the one that kind of is the favorite to win this year, which is like a silent movie with a little cat going down a river. It looks very cute. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet, because it's not. I think it just got added to streaming sometime this weekend. But I do want to get a chance to check it out. There's also Memoir of a Snail that I haven't seen, hoping I get a chance to, but I don't know where to find that one. So we'll see if I get to that one. I haven't heard as much like news about that one either. So like that's is what it is. You know, like I don't think that one again is probably going to win, but I'm always glad to see like people other than Pixar. And what's cool about Memoir of a Snail is that it's like a totally different animation style, like than anything else. So I always like that some of that stuff like makes it into like the Oscar race for animated stuff. And yeah, Wallace and Gromit was very cute as well. I think the best part of this movie was that they have this kind of like anti-AI or like anti-technology message, but it's the only movie I've seen where it didn't feel totally just like shoved down your throat. Like it just felt like they kind of like in the way that they just kind of show you why this isn't working. And like, because so much of Wallace and Gromit is kind of like silent humor or just like sight gags.
Right.
But I just liked the way that they were like, you know, like Gromit's like stuff that he's making by hand keeps getting ruined by the little, robot guy that Wallace made. And like, I just thought that was very cute. The kind of way that they told this story, it was a lot less, I just feel like lately these stories are really like humongous, and it's like AI is gonna destroy the world, like that's like, you know, like a superhero level thing. And it's like, no, it is a little more insidious, where it's just like things aren't as creative anymore, things aren't, you know, as like special because you didn't make them, and like people are still more important, you know. So I just thought like there was some nice like themes that they had going on in that movie, and they just did it really well. So
I hadn't seen that there was a new Wallace and Gromit out.
And this is on Netflix, so just go. Very easy to check out. It's an hour and 20 minutes. Just really enjoyable, cute little movie.
Looks like it's like a lawn gnome or something.
Yeah. Okay. That's the kind of the bad guy for the movie.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like a bad guy based on all the photos, so I think you may have just given something away.
Well, sorry. This is introduced in the first few minutes, so sorry.
All right. Because he looks super.
It's a very
jolly,
simple
and it looks
movie,
like they're hanging out together in all of these images. So.
Yeah, well, you'll see. There's more of a twist to it, so definitely recommend checking it out.
And just Memoirs of a Snail looks weird as hell.
It does look weird, but I
don't think I would ever watch
I've
that.
seen short films that animator did that were very good, so like I'm curious because of that. But yeah, we'll see if I have time to watch it. There's a lot of movies.
Yeah, maybe prioritize that further in the queue.
It's on my like if I have time list. Like I still have like 4 Best Picture movies to watch.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the next one is a Best Picture nominee, miraculously, Emilia Perez. This movie is so bad. I'm sorry. Like I don't really have very nice things to say about this movie.
The fact that it beat out Wicked.
It's not going like I don't understand how it got nominated for much. It's quite honestly like kind of offensive, truly bizarre, just insane. Like
Please
I
tell
had
me
a
why
hard
it's
time.
Offensive.
Okay, I'm trying to do this without like spoiling the whole movie. I guess like we should give like a summary of what the movie is about.
Yeah,
I did
'cause I
like
have no
copy
idea.
the. Okay, so I did copy the IMDb summary, but then I wrote my own. So the
Okay.
IMDb summary is Amelia Perez follows three remarkable women in Mexico, each pursuing their own happiness. Cartel leader Amelia enlists an unprecedented lawyer, Rita, to fake her death so that she can finally live authentically as her true self. What they are not explaining here is that it's like this cartel leader like is trans, and when he fakes his death, like becomes a woman, and then like is like for all intents and purposes like the man that he was is dead, and then they like continue from there. I'm gonna go a little further with the summary because like this is what most of the movie is about. So like he kind of does a Mrs. Doubtfire where like he just decides that he has to be in his family's life even though he's a woman now and this new person. So he like invents a character that's like a relative of theirs and then is like still taking care of the family and then tries to like go on this crusade to like undo the harm that they've done as a drug cartel leader by like leading stuff. And like this summary is kind of an interesting idea, but none of the things that could be interesting about this are what they talk about. Like they just kind of go like it's a very like hypocritical movie. Like the characters don't like stick with one thing ever. Like I didn't necessarily notice this, but I've heard a lot like seen a lot of criticism that like the actresses who didn't or actors and actresses who didn't speak Spanish were not taught very well because most of the movie is in Spanish. So like the Spanish isn't good. The like reflection of Spanish culture is not very accurate. The like reflection of trans culture is not very accurate. I think that I listened to a review today that I think said this really well and said it much better than me. So like if you would like to have a summary of this movie that's a lot more comprehensive and like eloquent than I'm going to be able to give you, please check out Pop Culture Happy Hour by NPR. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But they had like some queer people talking about it, and I thought this was a very good point. This is there's not enough media about trans people yet for this to be what is representing them. Like this is a really bad and offensive representation because there's kind of a stereotype within the trans community that they are lying about who they are, and that's why they're like changing. And so like that is something that is like
they're trying to get away from something.
Yeah, or it's just a perception like that other people have of trans people is that they are dishonest and like lying about themselves. And so like this movie leans into that like a lot. And like they used the words where they felt like it really trivialized the trans experience and made them look very like selfish and like they are deceiving people. And I thought that was a good way to explain what was wrong with it, because like I had a trouble articulating what I thought wasn't feeling good about this movie, aside from the fact that it makes no freaking sense and they just I don't know
Spanish.
It truly it truly feels like a movie that might have been made in AI, where like they just took words that are like buzzy right now and tried to force it into a movie, and then also made it a musical at the last minute. Because every time that they switch to the music, which I will admit, at least some of the music is not terrible, like the music of it itself, the people they got singing it are not good singers, but like some of like the music sequences, if you just chopped that out and didn't know what it was about, like would be entertaining. Like the music, like the song
that it was like Mamma Mia. Based on the stuff that I saw when it beat Wicked for like some of the best best music or best song or whatever.
This is not good.
It felt like it was a Mamma Mia type show. So for you to tell me this is about a drug cartel,
I wish this was Mamma Mia.
A trans person trying to escape the cartel, like that those things do not seem to compute with what I saw.
It's truly a weird movie. It feels like they had a million ideas for different movies and just shoved it into one movie, or I don't know. Like I also told my friend, like it felt like they wrote one version of the script and never changed that. Like they just stuck with whatever they threw out the first time and never edited it or tried to make it like more comprehensive. Like the characters are,
which
according
seems to go
the
against
director,
the trans community in general.
There's also like a whole thing where like
started with.
So the reason I watched this movie, though, is because it got nominated for 13 Oscars, which is wild, especially after freaking seeing this movie. Because I'm like, you could give this one of the best song things because it at least has original songs. You could give it a little bit of credit for like the original screenplay, because again, it just is one of the only ones that's out there as an option. But it's not a good movie. It's really
do you think it was chosen because of the subject matter, even though the subject matter wasn't handled well, like just by nature of what it was?
That was probably part of it. It kind of felt like to me like they chose
like virtue
words,
signaling almost.
Like yeah, like they're like, we're gonna talk about trans people, we're gonna talk about like crime and like really talk about it, except that the things that they're saying are kind of like the icky, not like no, dad, don't say that kind of thing, like, you know what I mean, like they just felt very out of touch, like it, you know,
they're saying they're saying the inside thoughts out loud.
yeah kind of things, and like the characters are very like broad, I guess is like the nice way to put it, like they're intentionally like stereotypes of like character types, you know, but like that again did not help anything. It's just not a very good movie. I don't know why it's nominated for so many awards. Like I try to be like optimistic about it, but like it's like we got some laughs watching it, but it's a strange movie. They're probably not going to win any awards anymore because they were winning stuff, but the lead actress came out like she like was discovered to have some very racist tweets and just doubled down on them. So like now they're kind of like, no one's talked. This movie's just getting buried now.
Well, the last person that did that became president. So it's hard to.
So yeah, just honestly a weird movie. Skip this one, I think. It's also very freaking long. It's like almost 3 hours long.
No, thank you.
Just don't. You can. I think this one can.
Okay.
Like even especially because this got knocked out of the conversation for awards. Just skip this one. Like
great.
That would be my recommendation.
What are the other two that you watched?
This is the new movie. I saw Captain America on Saturday.
Yeah.
Brave New World. Okay, awesome. Have you seen it?
I did see it.
Okay,
yeah.
great. Yes. I wish I liked this movie more than I did. I thought it was like fun to watch in the theater, but it's just not a great movie, and I feel like they want it to like be an anchor for like what's going to happen next in the MCU, where they're like minor spoiler, like Sam, please set up the Avengers again. Like, you know, like we knew they were coming back, but to ask him to be that role after this movie is rough. In my opinion.
Well, they need a Sam. They had a Samuel L. Jackson for the first one, and then they needed a Sam Wilson for the second one.
Yeah, it's
That's a funny joke, Lauren. Come on.
It was good. I liked it.
The best jokes are the ones where the people have to say it was funny, and then the person responds with, "Yes, that's good."
Okay. I'll give you a Bob the Drag Queen. I'm screaming. But it took me a second because it was like character and actor. So, but yeah. So I mean. I felt like this was the like TV movie version of like a political thriller, and like it wasn't the like shiny prestigious version that they have achieved before with like Winter Soldier, you know, if that made sense. Like
yeah, it for me it felt like it was better than some of the other ones that we've seen.
Yeah, I had fun watching it.
But it was just fine.
It's very fine.
It wasn't a failure, and for me it needed to not be a failure for me. And
yeah.
I wasn't genuinely interested in this movie. Like I wasn't excited about it. I knew I needed to see it for the sake of what's to come. And I'm glad I saw it because there are some pieces that are going to set up this next thing, but I'm not going to go back to it. It's not going to get a second watch from me.
No.
And the fact that you had to watch the original Incredible Hulk, like, are you kidding me?
Okay,
like,
I'm going to defend that movie a little bit because I liked it. But the fact that they brought out, like, the forbidden lore for this movie with not only that, but also the Eternals, which is, like, the movies that everybody hates and never watched, was truly funny to me. Like,
it's ridiculous. Here's my problem with it. Them bringing wrapping those two properties into it, I have no problem with that. But they
because that's what they do.
They should have done it through the lens of a character like Deadpool, where there is a tongue-in-cheekness to it. Mm-hmm. They did this so straight-faced. They wanted the rest of this movie to be taken so seriously that the fact that they pull from an otherwise forgotten origin story and a decanonized origin story.
Yeah, like
and like the least accepted Marvel movie, I think, since the beginning of the MCU, but they want you to take the rest of the story seriously. To me, that was a disconnect.
I
don't hate it, but I just don't think that it makes sense given the context of the rest of the film. Like they want it.
I
like
totally
you said,
get you.
It's meant to be an anchor. This is meant to be an anchor film, and the anchor film is referencing two major properties that they don't want anyone else to talk about. Like, okay, are they just really doubling down and hoping that people get excited about the Eternals and go back and watch it again? Like, give it a second go because so much of this movie is centered on that.
Or so many Eternals are coming in the future, potentially? Is something I'm thinking
and they're like,
of?
hey, even though we know you guys didn't like this, it still is important, so we're going to keep showing you.
I do. Okay, so I have to be a little devil's advocate where like they did have like 2 or 3 Marvel movies and or shows where they were like not acknowledging that the Celestial came out of the ocean. So I did think it was like at least good that they did at once.
I agree.
Finally talk about it.
I agree, but I don't think they should have done it this way. I think they should have done it in a way of saying, why haven't we been talking about this hand? Like they pretended like everyone has known this thing existed and no other film since that happened has referenced it.
Yes, that was to me like just funny and bizarre. And I just it's funny because like they've worked themselves into a weird problem where like there is so much lore that we all have like lived through at this point. And like I remember at least the gist of the Incredible Hulk movie, so like I could get through this, you know, I was okay. I didn't remember everything, but like you know, they catch you up on what you need to know. But like they're now at the point where like people have fallen off and so they can't rely on that lore. So going this deep into the library was kind of a wild choice.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
as someone who is already in the trenches, it didn't bother me as much that they chose these. I went to see this with my coworkers and they pointed out that this almost felt like a Hulk movie instead of a Captain America movie because of like how much like the villain was involved with like the Hulk as well and all of the stuff with Red Hulk. And I think that was kind of a fair assessment. And like I also found out like, and I didn't know this ahead of the movie because like this is one of like at this point with Marvel movies, I know I'm gonna go, so I don't watch all the trailers. I did not know Giancarlo Esposito was in this movie, and I found out that that's probably because he was literally his entire character was added in reshoots. Every single scene that he was added in didn't exist in the original cut of this movie. That? The guy who's like Gus from Breaking Bad, who is like Sidewinder or the serpent guy. That was a completely added in later plot line. And I was like, that makes a lot of things make sense. Why they literally just called it the package. I'm like, you did not know what this was when you filmed this scene. Like,
wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we can't give any spoilers because it's still opening weekend.
I'm just saying that this guy was in this movie and I had no idea.
Yeah,
like
we did. We knew that.
This is not a cameo that was supposed to be a surprise. This is a major character that is involved within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, then the whole way through. Like,
can we just deviate for just a hot second and talk about what Jedi is talking about? Fantastic Four does look indeed fantastic. Since our last conversation, since our last episode, we got the actual trailer, and
which
something
really
interesting
good.
that I found out is that the trailer is there's some areas where it may have been doctored, so like similar to with the Spider-Man one where like it looks like somebody's getting like whatever. So there's some speculation about what may have been kind of
I think
doctored.
I know what it is because I talked to someone about this yesterday.
But then the other piece is that the trailer, all of the scenes from the trailer Marvel has gone on record as saying this, all of the scenes from the trailer were cut from the first 30 minutes of the film.
That's awesome.
So everything we're seeing happens in the first 30 minutes of the film. So we're not getting any of the actual story arc of what the film is actually going to take us to, which I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the prospect of seeing our first glimpse of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. I'm very excited about seeing Galactus.
Movie.
What?
I don't know if we'll get him in this.
I think
movie.
we're going to get him in a stinger. I think a
stinger is yes. I don't think he's going to be like the bad guy though.
So
I don't know. I would love to talk theories about the Fantastic Four, but this would be like a huge conversation because I do have like several ideas. Maybe we should save this for next week.
And this one is the first film, Fantastic Four. Well, so Captain America, what's it called?
Brave
Captain
New
America,
World.
The Great New World. Brave New World is the penultimate film for the Marvel Phase 5. The ultimate one will be Thunderbolts, which I'm not excited about at all.
I actually think that looks like fun.
I think it's going to be
I'm optimistic.
I think it's going to try to be like Suicide Squad, and Suicide Squad was so bad.
The first one is good.
The first one was bad. I'm sorry. Like I wanted it to be good, and it wasn't.
But this could be the good one.
And maybe it is. Who knows? But
I just like all the actors in it. It looks fun. I'm rooting for this movie. I could see this going either way.
I think I'm rooting for the film too, but I'm like cautious. Like I've been hurt before. I
Marvel stabbed us several times over lately.
So that's the ultimate of this. So Fantastic Four is the opening
and
of Phase
Daredevil,
6.
which looks so good.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what happens. And yeah, the generally, if you want to see a movie that's entertaining. Now here's what I would say. You talked about a second ago with Amelia Perez.
Yeah.
You said that the film was just way too long. This film was the right amount of
Perfect.
time.
Yes, it's just 2 hours long.
I think it was like 156.
It was great.
Perfect. If it had been 20 minutes longer, this movie would have gotten a 20% less score for me. But
it was already pretty convoluted. So yes, they did a good.
The right amount of runtime can save a lot, honestly. So, yeah.
It's going to be funny because like on the lines of what we were saying, we're like they kind of use these like weird references for this movie. I think this movie is going to become a weird reference for things that happen in the future because there are a lot of consequences to some of the things that they set up in this movie. But like this again, I don't think it's going to be one that a lot of people actually watch.
Well, I don't look at it, and I was trying to figure out like what's the opposite of retconning, because like they unretconned the whole Hulk origin timeline thing. That's not
they just changed the actor. They didn't actually like say that didn't happen.
But they reintroduced that film. Like they reintroduced the story of that, right? Because the MCU's that's not part of Bruce Banner's background. Like they never.
No, I think it is. No, I think it is 100%. Because him and Natasha have that like thing that they mention.
Okay, but yes, now we're in the area of like it could get spoilery, so we can't keep going further. But I think that it was an interesting choice. Maybe they needed to do it for some reason. I don't know that they needed to, but they did. They chose to. And I agree with what Jedi is saying. They probably needed to reintroduce the celestial stuff because of what's happening with Galactus.
Yes, that's what I think.
They needed people to remember that that's a thing. Should they have kept people kind of in the know on that over these last few films? Yes.
Well, yeah.
They should have mentioned it.
If an island-sized entity emerges from the sea, it needs to be noted upon.
A big old hand and head hanging out in the middle of the ocean. Like, no one's talking about this?
I mean, it's the same thing where, like, every movie after they mentioned the snap, because that was a world-changing event in Marvel land. This is, like, not mentioning 9/11, kind of. Like, just, it is something that would have changed the world.
Right. Like, or even COVID. Like, everything now is, like, pre or post-COVID. Like, something, like, monumental like that should be talked about. Anyway, let's move. But
I would love to though talk about Fantastic Four sometime soon. We should maybe just like save that for next week or something. But that would be a very fun topic. But I will make a note for that. So last movie is The Substance, which I know Patrick absolutely hated.
He panned that film hard.
I liked it, but I'm not surprised that Patrick didn't like it after I saw it. Like, I was like, I get why people might not like this movie, but personally, I kind of liked it. I don't think it's like the best movie. I think any other year, this would not have gotten nominated for so many Oscars. Like, the ones that it has like a chance of winning are the like best actress and maybe like makeup or special effects kind of thing. In my opinion, those are the ones that like it earned, but it's wild ride. Like, I will think about this movie for a long time because it's just insane. I spent like it's very disgusting. It's a true horror movie, and like I was talking with some people, like I don't think
gory horror movie,
gory, disgusting, Cronenberg level, nasty. Just gross. I literally sat like the whole last 30 minutes like this behind a pillow because it was just wild. And like we were eating some like 7-layer dip that was left over from the Super Bowl, and no one could touch it. No one could touch it after a certain point. No.
Did you not listen to Patrick's review of this film?
I just put out snacks. Like, I didn't think about it that much. You know, it's like what we had left over while we were watching this movie, and like just absolutely crazy. And I don't think that the movie's like story really goes anywhere that you didn't expect. It's just that the visual is so much worse than you could have imagined. I think that it kind of feels like an extended Black Mirror episode to me. Like the summary, just like the short version is like Demi Moore is an aging actress. She gets offered to take this mysterious green substance, and it like creates a like younger version of her that can run around and do stuff. I think I do have some like issues with like I think it could have been a little bit more of an interesting movie if their experiences were less separate, like where they like share memories and it's not as much like Severance where they are kind of two separate people. But I thought this movie was a lot of fun, and it's like a crazy, I think just like I think every woman can relate to this movie and what the ideas of this movie are, because it's just kind of a truly, in my opinion, the movie's thesis is it's a movie about how much women hate themselves and like what beauty standards like do to your self-esteem and like how that messes with you. Like, even if you don't watch this movie, watch the scene where Demi Moore is about to go on a date and just like freaks out in the mirror. This is no actual horror movie of the moment. Like, sorry, not a horror moment in the movie. It's just her like getting nervous about going on a date, and it's like the most relatable scene I've seen in a movie. Like it's that is something that everyone has lived through, where like you feel like, you know, you're getting ready to go to a party and you're like, oh, but my hair's not nice, or I'm just gonna fix my makeup, but like you just don't feel good about yourself no matter what you do. Like that is, I think, like a very relatable feeling. So it's like, although this movie is truly a wild and crazy ride, the like thought behind it is a very like just relatable idea and simple idea, where it's just like beauty standards really mess with your self-image and
cause you to do can lead you to do crazy things.
And like nothing in this movie, like I said, was like when you hear the premise, everything that you think is going to happen is exactly what happens, but it's still shocking. Like they just it's kind of just a weird special movie. I've never quite seen anything else that is similar, other than maybe Black Mirror, but it's more like they just nailed the same vibe. So I would recommend checking out The Substance if you've got the stomach for it. It's rough, I'm not gonna lie, but it's a very fun movie if you like horror.
All right, I might check it out now. I was for sure not going to watch it after Patrick's review, but I will.
It's also not too long, which I thought was great. Like it's like 2 hours long and like gets to the point. There's not a lot of fluff.
Okay, so you're now officially we're how many weeks away from the Oscars? 2 weeks, and how many more movies do you think you need to kind of get under your belt to feel comfortable before watching them?
I would really like. There's 5 Best Pictures that I haven't seen yet, and I'm sure I'll see at least 3 of them.
Okay.
I would really like to be able to see all of them. I just don't know if I'm going to have time. And then I have 5 others on the list that I still want to see, because I want to see A Real Pain, Sing Sing, and Flow, but I just don't know if I'm going to get to those.
A Real Pain is
the one.
Yes, I've seen that film.
With the
that is a beautiful and strange and just it's a moving film. Like it's very real, and it's Kieran Culkin and
Jesse
Zach,
Eisenberg.
What? Jesse Eisenberg? Yeah, not Zach.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg, and it's a good one. Like I would make sure you see that one for sure.
I just don't know if I'll get to it before the Oscars, because it's only nominated for 1. I'm trying to get to the ones that are like have basically like if you have more nominations, I'm watching them first. No, like I'm saying, I still want to watch this movie even if I don't see it before the Oscars. So
definitely watch this movie before you watch that snail one.
It's on the list, but we'll just see if we get there.
So you've got about 10 films that you need to see in the next 2 weeks.
5 for sure, and then 5 bonuses if I can get there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, we'll check in, because our next episode will be right afterwards, so we'll check in and see if you
I did see that they added A Real Pain on streaming, I think on Peacock.
Oh, on Peacock. Okay.
It's Peacock or Paramount. Because they both start with P, I just mix them up.
I think
I'll Google it while you start talking.
I think we rented it. So yeah, I don't know if it was free when we watched it, but
I just saw it get added like when I was looking for something.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
All right. Well, thank you.
Oh, it's on Hulu. Sorry.
Your movie. I think we actually did watch it on Hulu.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to watch it, it's now free on Hulu. So yes,
movie, that's the movie medley. We're excited to see where this takes us in the next couple weeks. All right, I'm going to round things out and close things out tonight with I had a 20, so I could talk about whatever. And
Lovely.
I got a game, and I sometimes will get a game and it'll sit on the shelf and I won't play it for years. But I'll talk about how pretty it is and whatever. This game was not only pretty and cool, I made sure I played it literally the day it came in. So Cooper and I busted out and learned how to play it. So I'm going to show you. I'm also even way more prepared for this than typical. I pulled out some components from it, but I'm not going to try to fiddle with a box. So I'm just going to show you the name of the game is, I'm going to bring this larger. The name of the game is Townsfolk Tussle. You see this box?
Yeah, I like the style.
Yeah, so it's in the rubber hose style. It looks very much like Cuphead or like Silly Symphonies, like the original Disney animation stuff. But it's called Townsfolk Tussle. And as you can see,
I'll say for our audio amigos, it does look like that, but they are like in a horror movie setting.
It's like a horror movie setting. Well, which is like Cuphead, right? Like
it
looks like
but
Cuphead,
there's like it looks like one of the characters is a sea monster.
A little bit, yeah. His name is Fish. His name is Norman Fishboy. I'm actually going to show you his character in a second. So these are the townsfolk right here. And above them, as you can see, there are some like looming villain type characters, and it definitely looks like it's in an old school cartoon. They have around the outside of the box some of the other, they're called ruffians. The bad guys are called ruffians. So I'm just going to show you a couple of
these
the
are
ones
great,
that they
like, character
feature
designs.
on the box. Yes, the character designs are fantastic. And then where's the other one? Here we go. Very, very Cuphead. Like it's just got Cuphead all over it. But the game itself, you play in four rounds that are split into 2 phases. Each round is split into 2 phases. One is the towns phase, where you go and you flip town events where things happen, and then you have access to a store, just like in Cuphead, where you can upgrade your gear. You get 6 gear slots on your character board. And I'll show you a character board now. So you mentioned one of the characters that looked like he was a sea monster. That's Norman Fishboy.
Perfect.
This is
Good
him
old
right
Norm.
here. Yeah, old Norm. So as you can see on the side,
I love this character design for real.
There's
It's great.
Headgear, chest gear, leg gear, right hand, left hand, and accessories. So if you can see those on the side of the card, your gear goes to the side of the card. Your character it's like a nested double board.
Yeah, I see the.
So your pieces, your trackers go like they nest down inside of there. So
that's nice.
Each character has 4 traits. They have health, movement, moxie, and accuracy. Moxie is the number of actions you have in any given turn. Different things take different action points, different moxie points to be able to do on your turn. Accuracy is this game. Everything you do is dice. Is contingent upon a dice roll. So you roll a D10, and your accuracy is your plus or minus to that D10. When you're battling. So each character has different starting stats, but you can get gear that would boost those. You can have things happen to you that would negate those. But each character on the back, or besides that, they also have abilities. They have like a passive ability and like an in-town ability, and then like some sort of battle ability. But then on the back, you actually have a story. It tells a story about the character. It gives you this whole story arc that flows in line with the main story of the game. The game's story is the sheriff gets killed by the ruffians, and it's up to the townsfolk to take the town back from the ruffians. By the end of the game, the person with the most number of what they're called merits, feats. I'm sorry, feats. The person who gets the most feats becomes the new sheriff for the final battle. I said it takes place over 4 rounds. Each round consists of a battle, of that town phase that I was telling you about, but then it also shifts to a battle phase. And there's a big board, and each bad guy. Let me show you the bad guy. Here's one of the bad guys, Penny. What's her name? Penny
Pinchetti.
She's a safe.
Cute.
So she's a safe. Penny Pinchetti. If you look on the back, every character has their own layout of the board. There's different pieces, different terrain pieces that you lay on the board based on how it tells you. She, what?
I think. Is that what that says? Okay,
no,
sorry.
She's got the deed. She's got the deed to the She's the debt collector. She's a safe.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That makes sense.
But you set up the board based on how there's all these different pieces that you put on the board based on what the character tells you to do. But if you look, there are 4 different versions of this character, and you set up the different things for the different versions, because the first round is the easiest battle, and that's you fight whoever the bad guy is that you flip over randomly. It's going to be a chump level. The second level is hooligan. Third level is troublemaker, and then the final one is final fight. And the final fight, they get exponentially harder, or incrementally harder as the fights go on. They get additional abilities, they get stronger. There's different things that they do each time. But this, much like the Townsfolk, they have a backstory that sets up everything that they do. And it is truly, truly very fun. I'm going to show you.
That's really cool.
Those are your boards that you play with, but there are actual figures. So here is Norman Fishboy. I need this to focus. Come on, there we go. You see that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Very, very nice figure.
Yeah.
And then here is...
I love how much personality it has. Like the way they pose them and everything is really well done.
Yep. And here's Penny Pinchetti.
These are big.
So this is your typical mini, maybe slightly larger than a typical, and then this is they're 4x the size. So if you look at the base, the map is laid out in squares, and the bad guy, the ruffians, take up 4 squares.
4.
So
big boy,
really, really nice. And then here are the tokens that you get, the coins. Let me see if I can show them. These are metal coins.
Oh, nice. Those look great.
They look lovely, and they have a... Well, I just dropped it on the floor. I was trying to jingle it.
I heard the clank.
I don't
the
know
ASMR.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, no.
Okay. Here we go.
You're going to have to call that company you talked about last time to get replacements.
Exactly. These are actual metal coins.
I'm kidding.
Kind of jangling around in my hand. They're so fantastic. There's this one bad guy that I want to show you. This ruffian.
Would you consider painting the minis? They look great.
I would consider it. I don't consider myself a great dimensional painter, but I would consider paying someone to paint them.
There you go.
Sending them over to Luke and letting Luke paint them.
Yeah,
absolutely. I would for sure let Luke do that. But this is a funny one. All right, so this is a bad guy. It's a ruffian, but he's not actually a bad guy. His name is Bort Dovis, and let me just read to you Bort's his story. All right, Bort Dovis.
Okay, I'm ready.
For people who are just listening to the audio, it's just like a normal dude with like a belly on him with a fanny pack and like a Hawaiian shirt and a camera, and he's sweating
he's
with
very
a ball
tourist.
cap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chubby
it's
tourist guy. Yeah.
So here is his story. Here we go. Bort is just your run-of-the-mill guy. He lives alone in a small cottage, works at a door-to-door as a door-to-door salesman, and has no real outstanding skills or traits. After years of cautious spending, Bort finally has enough funds to take a vacation. He planned to tour the countryside. First stop, Eureka Springs. That's the name of the city, the name of the town. When Bort arrived, he fell in love with the town's culture. What unique customs they have. They're always wrestling each other, and they must really like ketchup because they're covered in it. Bort, it's blood. Bort is blissfully unaware of the ruffians attacking Eureka Springs, and even worse for him, the townsfolk think he's one of them. Careful now, Bort. You end up battling this guy who is just a guy who's visiting the town.
He's the Galir of the city.
Literally, yeah, that's exactly who I thought of. It felt like this is Galir. But Bort, what makes Bort so tricky is you actually shuffle at random 2 of the other ruffian decks into his deck. So you don't know what type of attacks are coming your way. On his turns, you're flipping over cards from other bad guys.
Oh, interesting.
And it's really, really tricky. So anyway, that's kind of an overview. The game is, like I said, it's beautiful. It's a lot of fun. It's not as easy as you think it would be. It's the right amount of challenging, which is, again, very reminiscent of Cuphead. The battles are dice contingent, but you can get gear that buffs you up. And so you can work, it's co-op. So you work with the other player at the table to help each other out and to try to compete and to defeat these ruffians, and it is a very satisfying win. When you win, there are when the game ends, there are 3 different readouts, and there's a book of results, and so it'll tell you, hey, if you beat the bad guy, if you beat the final boss, go read this result, read number 19. If you lost to the final bad guy, go read 44. And then there's a third win condition that each bad guy has a different kind of special condition. Like on Bort's, his is the special objective is, as a particular character, deal no damage to Bort. So if one of the players that you're playing with is playing as a specific character, and if you defeat him without that character ever having done any damage to him, then there's a special ending, and it tells you where that readout is. So it's fun.
Are you aware of that, like, as you're playing?
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, you can see what the special win condition is.
That's cool.
On the card when you flip it over. So it takes a little bit to play. I think Cooper and I played, and I think it took us like 2 hours. We were still learning it a little bit, so that takes a little bit longer. But it says on the box it's 40 minutes per player. So once you know what you're doing, you should be able to play with 2 players in just under an hour and a half. But there is a solo mode that you can play as. There's a version where there's 2 players can play with 2 characters each, or you can play with up to 5 people. And as you play, the bad guys scale, right? So like depending on how many players you have, the bad guys,
that makes sense though. Yeah, like
the bad guys' health goes up and their movement goes up and stuff. So it's just cool. That
sounds cool. Yeah, I like that.
And there are already 2 expansions for it. I did not jump in with the expansions. I wanted to see how it played first, but a couple more gameplays of this, and I might jump in for the expansions. I think I'm going to be playing it again this Friday with some friends, like with.
Have you played like different characters every time?
We've only played once, and you play all the bad guys with the same character because you build your character over each battle.
Yeah, but you like next time you would probably pick. I'll
probably
else,
play with a different. Yeah. Cooper played as Norman Fishboy.
More fun, yeah.
I'll play somebody different because there's a lot of characters. I think there's 7 that you can choose. 7 townsfolk you can choose from. When you get the expansion, it comes. I think you get 3 more you can choose from.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of ruffians as well. So the game changes every time, and even if you picked the same bad guys every time on just by happenstance, the odds of them being in the same order are very, very low. So the way in which you play them, their rules change based on whether they're in the hooligan area or the final fight area. So like it's almost like just an unimaginable number of possibilities of playing this game in the same way. Like it's that's fun though. Like that makes it very fun. Like you don't you never know exactly what to expect from it, and you never know what gear you're gonna flip over, and you never know, like all of these different variables that are in play. It's not going to be a boring playthrough. So
that sounds really fun. Yeah.
Townsfolk Tussle. If you like any of the stuff that I just mentioned, I think you'd love this game. So pick it up if you want. It's a cool game. Cool. All right. Considering it was just the 2 of us, we still managed to talk a considerable amount of time. So
good long time.
We need to roll some dice so that we know what we're talking about next time. I think we're going to let Patrick honor his.
He can keep his 20. Yeah. He just moved. We can give him some grace.
All right,
I've got mine here. So I'm going to go for it. A nat 1.
Oh, boy. Good for me.
Pick. Yeah. I got a 1 and a 1. All ones.
Wow.
I rolled a really great nat 20 last night in our game where like we were just trying to convince these other people in this like situation to run away with us, and they wouldn't listen. And so I was like, I lied and said I was a scientist and rolled a nat 20. And so they had to believe me. And I was like, this is the least likely person to ever have been a scientist on Earth. And they just have to listen.
That almost never works out for you when we play our game.
No.
And if it were if it were Jonathan rolling for it, it would never have happened. So
no.
All right, let me roll mine.
Jonathan's the DM in that game, so it works out.
I got a 17 and a 1.
17 is TV.
TV.
You have so many good things to choose from.
There's a lot to choose from. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. I know there was Patrick wasn't here, so we weren't as attentive to the chat because we were staying on task.
Yeah, so, we engaged with each other.
We were present with one another, and therefore you may have felt neglected, but it's not because we don't love you. It's just because there was one less of us this go around. But thanks for hanging with us.
Yes.
You can find show notes and links over at mof1.network, where you can find all the stuff we talked about in this episode, and then just like so many other things on there. There's so many episodes, 10 years worth of episodes over on the website. While you're there, you can hit the little Slack logo and join the conversation, be a part of that. We've talked about several things tonight that definitely could warrant a conversation over in Slack. And so either in our movies channel or our TV channel or our general channel.
For example, I don't think Kreider's here tonight, but he started watching Yellow Jackets. So we've been trading theories. It's great.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. And the place to do it is over in Slack. I think that's going to be it. I'm at Andrew Sale. You can find me all over the internet there if you want to see pictures of me golfing with my son. That's where you'll find that. Occasionally you'll find me drawing, although I haven't done that in such a long time. I'm not sure I know how to anymore. Lauren, where do people find you?
I'm at Not Cool Co. all over the internet.
Okay. And you can find Patrick at his new living room.
Yeah.
At Chattanooga.
Congratulations.
We are going to check out now, though. We will see you next time. I already said I'm Andrew. No, I didn't. I said I'm at Andrew Sale with 3 City. I'm Andrew. That's
I'm
what
Lauren.
Andrew Sale.
And I'm Lauren.
Instead of
yeah.
That's who we are. Tell us who you are in the comments. For now, we're out of here. Peace out.
Adios. For Patrick.
For Patrick.
We did it. We did it. We made it.
Hot. My body's hot.
I do always get warm when we're doing these, but I think it's because of the headphones.
I just started panicking towards the end.
There's a lot to remember
I'm
at the end.
responsible for I abandoned the idea of turning the music back on, though. I'm like,
no, we're good. We're good.
Patrick can put that in post.
We've done enough.
That's fine. I just don't. I don't
did
want
our
it to
best.
get all weird. But in the middle of choosing not to do it because I didn't want it to get weird, I lost track of what I was doing anyway. So it's like, damned if
it's hard
do.
when you just sometimes get on another train of thought midway, and you're like, wait, but I'm doing a thing.
I know. Okay, well, Lauren, it was good to see you, and
you too. I love
we'll
this.
talk soon. And for everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight. And Jedi, did Jedi ever clear up whether or not he's on the road?
I think he did, but I missed it. Okay. I'm trying to go back and see if I can find it.
Be safe out there, everybody. If you're in Texas, stay warm. And, I guess if you're in other cold places, you can stay warm too.
Jedi is outside on a bike, he says.
We'll see you in a couple weeks and over in the Slat channel. Oh, you know what I realized? I pulled that interview down with Justin, and I never scheduled it to go live. So I need to do that. So it will go live next week. It was supposed to go live this past week, and I just forgot to schedule it. So
we've been there before. We got you.
Stay tuned for that and join that conversation there. Otherwise, we'll see you soon. Lauren, why don't you start waving?
Bye, guys.
And then I'm gonna do this. I think you do this. Nope, that's not it. That's it. That's it. But we're gone now, even though you can still hear us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.